This week, I told y'all, we'll be working on this colossal pile of garbage right here on the rack. We got lots to do, so let us get us busiest. If you will recall, last week we pulled the motor to fix my mess up on the rear main seal issue. Yep, that was a big doomless moment. Well, then we found a little piece of metal down in the Earl pan. I don't know where it's went. I've probably swept it up and threw it away. Well, it ended up being the dog bone broke. See right there, one corner is broken off. Well, I got to looking trying to find just one, and well, you can't find one. Well, you can find one new, but they won't. Way too much money. I'm not giving $25+ for just one of those. Well, I can buy a whole set for, I think, $50. Yeah, I ain't doing that. Not sure if I'm gonna buy the whole set, or I may go to junkyard see if I can find. I don't want to have to wait on it. Is the main thing. You know, it'll take probably 3 days to get it once I order it. If I go to junkyard tomorrow, I'll have it right then, and we can put this back in the truck, hopefully. So what I'm trying to tell you is we're not working on this right now. What we're going to work on firstly, we're going to pull that rear end out and get this thing a 2-wheel peel instead of a 1-wheel peel. I got an issue though with these back tires. This one here is wearing funny. Yeah, that there ain't wearing like this one. I don't know what's going on. It's like an alignment issue. I think once we get the POS unit in there, I'm pretty sure it's going to line it up, and that tire over there should start wearing the same amount as this one over here. That's my plan anyways. Let's get that differential out there and tear it apart. First thing we got to do, get her jacked up, because we got to get the axles pulled out, because, you know, they're sticking inside the differential. I can't use my air jack because it's holding up the transmission right now. So, as soon as I get this in here, jack it up, then we'll have to pull both axles out just a little. You ain't got to pull them out real far. Now what we got to do, there's 4 bolts that hold a retainer on. That's what holds the axle in the rear end. We got to get them loose, and then we just pull the axle right out. They left you a convenient little hole right here that you can stick a socket through. They are T-bolts on the back, I think. Yeah, so it shouldn't need a wrench back there. Now, put this back on here and use it like a slide hammer. Tell you what, let me get a pan because we might lose some grease too. I don't want to make a mess. All right, just use it like a slide hammer. Look at that. She pulled right out. That right there should be more than enough pulled out. I gotta go do the other side, and then we'll start on the actual differential, moving it out. All right, I got the driving shaft loose. As soon as I get this here U-bolt out of the way, we'll get the driving shaft out of the way. I left a cap in that, so put that back just like that right there. Oh, wait a minute, we're gonna lose transmission fluid a bit. Let me find my little plug. I don't know where it's at. Probably that other transmission. It's in the FMX. We'll just put a rag under it because it's probably mostly empty anyways. I sure hope that's the case. If not, well, we'll have a mess. All right, let's pull this out. Hopefully I can do this without making a huge mess. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, look at there. Not even one single drop. Oh, yeah. Well, I had to get this jack out of the way right here so I can put that drain pan there. If not, we would make a mess when I pull this loose. I don't want 80W90 all over the floor. Absolutely not. So So I think I'll do right there. I got a jack on either side of the rear end now. Let's see if we can get this chunk out here. As soon as I find my socket, I had it a minute ago. Where did you go, little buddy? Interesting. Is it in here? Nope. Well, as soon as I find that, we'll start taking these here bolts out. Oh, here it is. I found it. I found it. I'm going to scoot y'all back because, well, you're in my way. Sorry, guys. What about that? Can you see? Bring on back in here real close for a moment so you can see what I'm talking about. Ford, as you know, makes a 9-inch. Well, they make an 8-inch also, and it looks pretty much the same. There's a few different ways you can tell. The only way I can remember is if these two bolts right here, if you can get them with a socket, then you got an 8-inch. If you have to use a wrench, then you got a 9-inch. I'm gonna put this nut back up top just to make sure this thing don't completely fall out on me. That'll do right there. Now, let me get my rubber hammer, peck on that a little bit. Scoot y'all back again, cause you're in my way, man. I'm gonna use my Maraca hammer, but I sort of broke it the other day. You know, not the intended use of this. And that broke, and the little metal cap come out. A lot of the little BBs come out too. But it's still got some Maraca left to it. Well, we're gonna have to use the old school driver real hammer trick, I think. Come on, man. It does a whole lot better when you get all of the nuts off of it. That top one was double nutted. It was the nut to hold the whatever this is called on. Then it had another one to hold that cable bracket on. Yeah, I only took that one off. So it took a few minutes, but I finally figured it out. Now these little fellers are very heavy. I'm getting older. I ain't what I used to be. So y'all might see me get injured right here. I don't know. Well, I got my little thing right here. I'm gonna set it down on very quickly because I don't want to hurt my knees or my back. No, sir. I can't be out of work. All right. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go, buddy. Oh, yeah. Now it's out. Woo. Woo-wee. The Artez, I'm going to let it sit here and drain for a little bit on this cardboard so it's got some greases in it. Here is the tag off the rear end. I told y'all 246. Well, it's 247. Excuse me for being off 0.01. It's the same thing. I am wondering, though, you know, since this has been torn apart because it's got RTV all over that gasket, I wonder if they changed the gear. We'll know a little bit when we get tore apart. It will have numbers scribed on it, or we can just count the teeth and do some math. But ever since I got this back on the road, I wondered in the back of my mind if this actually was a high-geared rear end. You know, back in the day, they didn't have overdrive, so they gear the rear ends high for, you know, fuel economy and all that. Well, you know, it's got a 2500 to 2800 stall. I'm not used to that because I'm a manual transmission guy, so it's hard for me to judge if it's low or high gear rear end. We're gonna find out a little way, in a little bit is what I'm getting at. Let it drain a little bit. We'll get it up here in the vise. Well, I got the little feller up here in the vise. All I'm doing is I just made 2 holes in a piece of angle iron. You had to cut it out too because there's a rib here. That's all I'm using to hold it up. It does pretty good. What I have done is counted the teeth on the ring gear and in the pinion, and I wrote them down here on the board. Ring gear is 47 teeth, pinion is 19. If you divide 47 by 19, guess what you get? 2.47. That's what it's supposed to be. So it's stock gear. I am going back with a 325. I debated on doing a 350 because You know, that's what I did in the 40 and dude. Because of that stall, I didn't want to be turning 4,000 RPM at 60 miles an hour. So I set it on 325. It may still be too low. I don't think so. It's got to be an improvement over the stock 247. That's what we're going with anyways. Dude was the last one I set up, and that's been was it May? 10 months. And y'all know I got the memory of a tree stump. I can't remember what I did 15 minutes ago. So I'm going to go in the house, and I got to study up on how you set all this up again. When I get that done, I got to run to town. I got to have this gasket. I got to have, here's my bag of 9-inch parts. I've had this for many years. I got 3 seals. I don't know why I've got 3 seals. I got the pinion housing shims. I got my Prussian blue to marking compound. And then there's these here. I think these may be for a shimmy lay rear end. I think so. Anyway, I'm going to go in the house and do a little studying. And like I said, I got to go to town, get this gasket. Where else is there one? This has an O-ring. There's a seal here. I think that's it. Yeah, so I really only need this gasket. Yep. Crush sleeve. I don't have a crush sleeve, sure. Yep. Forgot all about that. So I'll head to the store here in a little bit. And when I get back, we'll tear this apart. I hope to at least get it set up today. I don't know if we'll get it back in the truck. We might. We'll just have to see. Anyways, I'll be back in a little while. Well, it is a few hours later. Yep. And I went on to town. I didn't go in the house and study. I went on to town. Met a subscriber in town. He gave me a bunch of stuff. I'll show you all that tomorrow. Then I went on to town, run around, and got supplies, gear oil, and gaskets and whatnot. Couldn't find a crush sleeve, so I'll have to order one of them. We'll get it tomorrow, so we're shut down on this. Well, I could tear it apart, clean it up, but it's getting kind of late because by the time I got home, my handy dandy assistant called, said he needed some help with his wood splitter. Didn't want to run. So I went over there and we fooled with that for 2 hours probably. I will post some of our shenanigans on the Facebook page here in just a minute. By now you have seen it if you're on the Facebook page. If you're not, please go join. Link is in the description. Anyway, we spent a couple hours on that. Finally got that thing running good. Then his boy needed me to go look at the front hub on his 4-wheel drive truck. Got all that straightened out. Well, now I'm home. It's, 8:30. And I still got to go inside and study, take a refresher course, if you will, on setting that rear end up. So we're pretty much done for the night. Well, because we're waiting on a crush sleeve and waiting on me to remember how to do that. So I'm going to go in the house, study up. Tomorrow, I believe, if I can find a crush sleeve, we'll get that rear end back in. It's possible, if I can find me a dog bone, that we can get that motor put together too. I'm going to go to a local junkyard. Hopefully I can find one. If not, well, I'll have to order it. We're going to be waiting. I don't want to do that. Anyways, going in the house. See y'all tomorrow. Here's your weekly reminder. If you would like to support the channel, well, check out my Patreon channel. Link is in the description below here. Also, if you would like to buy some merch, like this shirt right here. This is one of my brand new designs. I really like this. The link to my merch is in the description below. Also, go check that out. Appreciate it. Now let's get back to working on this colossal pile of garbage. Tis the next day. As you can see, it's still here. It ain't went nowhere. Kind of hard to do without a rear end and a motor, but yeah, it's still here. Anyway, it's actually nighttime. You can see out the door, it's dark. I spent most of the day going to junkyards, looking online at junkyards, hoping, looking at their inventory, hoping they had a vehicle that would have the part I needed. Then I got on Facebook Marketplace, found one guy, other side of Nashville, about an hour and 15 minutes away. And he had 2 specific parts. Let me show you what they are. He had these 2 little fellas right here. Oh yeah, we got us 2 dog bones. I was hoping to get a whole set, just in case we break some more. 2 will do. That's all. We only need 1. I'm hoping we can get that motor put together and back in the truck tomorrow. Ain't happening today because, like I said, it's nighttime. They are calling for bad storms. I think they're supposed to come through here around 3 o'clock in the morning. And y'all know I don't like storms, so I'm not going to bed with storms coming through. So I figured if I'm up, let's work on old hunk of junk here. What I'm going to do is clean this up, tear it apart, and then come back and I'll show y'all how you're supposed to set it up. I did do a refresher course. There's nothing to it. It's just, you know, I just don't remember stuff. Anyway, we'll get to that here in a little bit. First, let me tell you this. You know, yesterday I told you that I had one of my subscribers meet me in town. His name's Jamie. And, well, let me just show you over here what he brought me. We have a plethora of carburetor devices now. Oh, yeah. Those 4 in that one are Holley. 2 Quadrajets and 1 Carter AFB. He said he thinks that Carter might have come off a Ford. Also, 2 tubs of stuff over here. We got a water pump, electric fan, bunch of hoses. I don't remember what all was in here. Looks like a mini starter right there, maybe. And valve cover gaskets, reusable small block shimmy lay Earl pan gasket, spark plug wires, fuel line. There's some U-bolts and alternator brackets and pulleys and a little bit of everything. That is awesome, because y'all know, you know, I try to use what I got. I try not to buy new, and that'll help on several builds. It sure will. Appreciate that. His name is Jamie, by the way. I appreciate that, Jamie. That's awesome. And I got something else in the mail from another subscriber. Let me get it out here. He sent this card to me with that little cat on it. And it had this $50 gift card in it. It is from Tom, Grove City, Ohio. He said give the card to Miss Daisy. And the gift card goes to the shop. Buy something with that. That's awesome. Appreciate that, Tom. Appreciate it, Jamie. If y'all want to send me something in the mail, my P.O. box is in the description down below. Anyways, let's get this thing cleaned up, tore apart. And I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll start putting the new stuff together. Let me very quickly show y'all the Backyard Butchery way of removing bearings from a differential. You got your bearing separator right here. You put it on the bearing that you want. You set it down on an axle. I would use an old axle. You know, I wouldn't do this to a good axle. I probably wouldn't do it to a good differential. I don't care about this one, so it don't matter. Anyway, you set it down on the axle. Well, you go to whooping on it with a big hammer. Y'all know I like using violence sometimes, so here you go. See it move? Oh, yeah, she's coming on off now. I need to tighten up my bearing separator. Let me do that real quick, like just a wee bit. That'd probably be good right there. Go to whooping on it again. And there you have it. I don't recommend doing this. Well, the reason why is that bearing separator sort of chewed this up a little bit. That can be filed and reused. I wouldn't be afraid of it at all. Just keep in mind that you might tear up the axle, you might tear up the differential. So if you're planning on keeping either, I wouldn't recommend this. I'm not. All I wanted was the bearing, so we're good. Reason I'm doing this, trying to save a little money. Yep. Anyways, let me continue on working on this differential. Well, here's the deal. We're done for the day, evening, night, whatever you want to call it. And here's why. This is the bolt that holds the ring gear to the differential. See the room you got right there? We'll come over here and put it in the new one. It just barely sticks through. Yep. I remember now having that issue with is either the 40 or Duder, or maybe both of them. I don't remember. So we're done with this for the weekend because I'm pretty sure the bolt store is not open on Saturdays. That's what tomorrow is. So we'll have to wait till Monday to finish this up. Yep. Well, I thought, I'll tell you what, let's put this dog bone in that motor over there. We'll put it back together and set it down in the truck at least. Nope, can't do that either. And all my running arounds today trying to get that dog bone, well, I completely forgot intake gaskets. I told that secretary to go get them gaskets, and well, she just didn't do it. I'm on fire. And she keeps on. Yep, I'm on fire. I thought, well, these look pretty good. Why don't we just reuse them? Well, I sort of mangled it when I drove that screwdriver up in there trying to pry the intake off. So, yep, can't reuse them. I'm not sure that I can even get these from O'Reilly tomorrow. I'm trying to find the number on it. Surely there's a number on it somewhere. If I can get them tomorrow, I'll order them tonight, and we'll at least get this put back in and get all this done up tomorrow. And then Monday, hopefully we can finish up the rear end. Fellas, that's just how it goes. I'm a one-man show. I got to do it all, but sometimes I just forget stuff. Anyways, if I don't get blown away tonight, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, I didn't get blown away last night or today. And as you can see, it's nighttime again. I've been a little lazy today. I am very glad, though, that the weatherman was very, very wrong on the weather. We didn't even get any rain last night, much less, bad storms. We got a lot of rain today. I'll put a little video clip right here of just right down the road. It was washing across the road. I've never seen it do that there. Maybe we didn't get any bad storms, just a lot of water. Anyways, it is late, and I wasn't going to do nothing today. Like I said, I've been lazy, but I decided, let's fool with that car there. If you will recall, back in the summer, the older gentleman that we got, what's his name, Lockjaw, and that danged old Dodge and stuff like that from, he gave me that Lincoln back in the summer. He thought it had a blowed head gasket. Well, long story short, I figured it out, gave it back to him. He's been driving it a little bit. He put tags and insurance on it. He called me the other day and said, that thing, you'll have to excuse me, by the way, my asthma's terrible tonight. Anyway, he said that thing is running hot, or if you leave it setting, it'll boil over, the fans ain't coming on. Come get it and see what you can figure out. Well, I pulled it in here. Well, you can see the wooders. Pulled it in here, and it ran literally 30 minutes sitting there idling with the air on. The fans never came on. I've never seen a vehicle sit there and idle that long with no fans and not get hot. Fans finally come on after 30 minutes. They ran maybe 3 minutes. They was on low. They wasn't on high. And they went back off. And then I got to fooling with this tiller, and 15 minutes later it started boiling the water. I don't know what's going on. I sort of think the temp sensor is something wrong with it. It's not giving the right temperature to the computer. Computer ain't turning the fans on, and it gets hot and boils over. I got to do a little more figuring on that. Not right now, though. I'm tired of fooling with it. I figure let's put this motor back together and possibly at least set it in the truck. We might not get everything hooked up tonight, but I would like to at least get it set up, set in, and a few bolts in, because this bothers me. I want it back in the truck. I got everything cleaned back up, so let me set y'all up on the stand, and we'll put this thing back together. The shop where I went and got this dog bone, they are, I think, exclusively a Ford, mostly Mustang shop. And I asked him, have you ever seen one of these break? He said, I've seen a couple break. He said, I never knew why they broke. And I thought to myself, what in the world? This is my first Ford build, and I broke one. That shop's been there, I'd say, 30 plus years. Ain't no telling how many of these motors he has put together. He has seen two break. If that ain't MLS, I don't know what is, fellas. I'm telling you, it is real, whether you want to believe it or not. Anyway, let me get these in and get them torque alert down. Then we'll put the intake on. Remember, we are not going back with those spacer whooshers underneath here. I want this to tighten on down on them dog bones so they don't move around. I don't know that that's, what caused it, but we're going to eliminate that as a problem. Clicker. Clicker. Let's see if they still move. Yes, sir. Fairly easily. They would have no problem moving around if they wanted to. I don't know why it broke. MLS, I guess. If y'all remember, we had us a little bit of a antifreeze leak right up here. So I'm going to goop this up just a wee bit around them, all the water ports, I guess, all four of them. But I have put together, I don't know how many motors. Y'all know how many times I've had a leak here, and they've been pretty pitted, pretty bad. Never have ever had a leak. Never have I put RTV around these. Nope. Sure ain't. Speaking of leaks, I don't remember if I told y'all or not, the transmission is still leaking. I think I found it. I will show you Oh, whenever we get back on the transmission part. But it's a pretty good leak. I'm going to do the walls here. Then I'm going to do this same thing to the intake. Then we'll set her on there. Here we go. Hopefully I don't mess this up. It moved on me a little bit. Doggone it. They get torque alert to 20 to 25 feetage pounds. I'm going to run them down with this gun just to speed things up a little bit. Got my cheat sheet here on my phone. I don't run them all the way down right from the get-go. You want to tighten them down. Sort of in, you know, a couple of rounds. 10, 11D, and 12. I'll let it sit here for a minute because it's going to settle a little bit. I'll run through them again. Then I need to put the distributor on. We're going to pick her up, put it in the truck. I got to pull. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. My goodness. I almost pulled number 1 on a Chevrolet. Anyway, I got to pull number 1 on a Ford over here and find top dead center so I can get my distributor line up, because dummy me, you know, I didn't pay no attention to that. I just yanked her out of the motor. But I wanted to show you this right here. Remember on the Jolly Green Giant, number 1 cylinder on a Chevrolet, I couldn't get a socket or nothing on it. It's just hand tight. Well, one of y'all, I went and picked it up. Was it today? I think so. A little shorty spark plug socket. Well, it fits, you know, it's the right size, but you can't use a socket, but I can't get a wrench on it. So I'll try it on the Jolly Green Giant sometime or another. But it came from Jeff from Berrien Springs, MI. Is that Michigan? I think so. Anyway, appreciate that, Jeff. We'll try it on the Jolly Green Giant. Maybe, I don't know, next day or two. Anyways, let me get this out, find top dead center, and get the distributor in. Well, I reckon we're ready. I got the adapter plate on. I got the flex plate on. Got it torque alert with the Ugga Dugga machine. If I can get her set down on the motor mounts and the dowel pins on the transmission, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. But it's going to be a little bit aggravating trying to do it by myself, but it ain't the first time, and it probably won't be the last. No, sir. Don't y'all let me forget either that this has no Earls in it at all. That would be a travesty if I fired this thing up with no oil in it. Yes, sir. Wing down. Now, I don't want to go back in for some reason. Well, you've come out, so you got to go in, little buddy. I'm hitting the fan thing up here. Wonder if I can turn it sideways a little bit and get it in there. I guess, you know, I had it picked up angled when I pulled it out. So that might be what's going on. Let me pull it up just a little bit. See if you'll turn maybe sideways for us. Let's go this way here. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we got to try something. Wait a minute. Let me come forward about like that. Probably should have took the radiator out, but I think we get it down in here. Once I get down in the hump area, we can maybe spin her, or maybe not. I don't really know. This is not working out, fellers. Alternator's gonna hit that. I gotta go back up because this ain't working. I think I'm gonna have to pick it up angled like I did when I pulled it out. What if I turned it this way? Then the alternator won't hit the radiator. That might work. Let me move this radiator hose. Get it out of the way. Like that right there. All right, let's go down with it, see what we can get done. I'm hoping we can turn it once we get past that right there, but I don't think so. Is it gonna turn? Let me see. Almost. Almost. Look at there. Look at there. Let me go down a little bit, get past that windshield washer motor. Is she going? Look at here. Oh yeah, we're in there now. Sure enough. All right, let me go down to right there. And I'm gonna work on it and try to get the motor mounts, you know, in their holes, plus in the transmission. Gonna be fun times. I'll be back in a little bit. It's there at the hole, it just won't go down because it's hitting the transmission now. So what I'm probably gonna have to do, unhook the motor, jack it up, and get back there and do the finagling I need to do. Well, I got it in. It was sitting on top of the dowels. So I took a little pry bar and just worked it back and forth. So she finally fell right into place. I got 2 bolts in. Let me tighten them up and we'll be in pretty good shape here. Oh yeah, awesome and awesome. Very glad to have that done because I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to do that by myself with the transmission still in, but it was pretty easy. Yes, sir. You might be wondering, why did you go back to the motor instead of continuing on with the rear end? I got a good reason, let me tell you. Remember the bolt situation? This is too short. Well, upon my researches looking for bolts last night, this is what you call an open differential. It's a 1-wheel peel. This is a track lock. That's what Ford calls a posi, a track lock. And they're thicker here. It takes 1 1/4 inch bolt with a 5/8 head. These are just under an inch with a, these 3/4 head, I think. Well, if I use a 3/4 headed bolt, look at there, you can't get no socket on it. So it has to be a 5/8 headed bolt. It needs to be 1/4 long. I don't think the bolt store is going to have that. I'm going to check Monday. But I looked for hours last night online trying to find some 9-inch Ford ring gear bolts that would fit a track lock that I could get in a timely manner. No, sir. Not possible. You would think it being a Ford 9-inch, you know, pretty popular, they'd, you know, get on Amazon, boom, get them a day or two. Nope. Had to get them from, what's it called? Speedway.com, Speedway Motors, whatever it is. And they won't be here till Wednesday. This is Saturday, so that means 3 days we're going to be down. Anyway, that's why I went back to the motor, get this done. And I'm not going to sit around for 3 days. We will start on the next video Monday. That's the plan anyways. I might even find some time to finally bore this out for my nephew. I got to get that done. Well, it's been several days, like 4 or 5 days, since we worked on this colossal pile of garbage. I did get everything done, motor, everything hooked up. Only thing we got to do is completely fill it up with antifreezes. We'll do that later. Also, remember I told y'all that the carb, you know, before I parked it in here and pulled the motor, the carb acted like it was flooding. Well, I pulled that front bowl off. It had trash in it. Where did the trash come? How does trash get by a filter? Somebody explain it to me because I don't understand it. Also, I got a new transmission dipstick tube because that in there started leaking pretty bad again. So I got one of the newer kind with a top hat seal. I'll put a picture here of that seal. That's the one you want to get if you're going to buy a transmission dipstick tube for, I think they'll fit a 350, 400, maybe even a 700. I don't know. That's the one you want. You don't want that old ring. It's just, it ain't no count. Anyways, what we're doing now, well, this is why I haven't worked on it in 4 or 5 days. These bolts right here, and I got my bolts in. Those are the ring gear bolts. Remember, these were too short. And then these, they had to be a smaller head than you could probably get at just a regular bolt store. Anyways, what I've got done now, I pressed the bearing on the pinion. I pressed the bearings on the, whatever you want to call this, differential, pause unit, whatever. Carrier, some people call it a carrier. We are using the old bearings, trying to save a little money, fellas. It's just fine and dandy. There's nothing wrong with them. Anyways, now what we're going to do, press this ring gear onto the carrier. Before you do that, Joe, you want to take a stone and do that right there. Make sure there ain't no high spots sticking out because you don't want that ring gear going on there cockeyed. Would not be good. Once you do that, you come over here and do the same thing to this surface here. Then once I do that, I'll set it up in the press over there and we'll press that gear on. All right, we are ready to see if we can press this on here. I'm putting these bolts in to help line it up with the holes because once you get her pressed on, You can't spin it to line the holes up. No, sir. You'll have to unpress it and then start over. I don't want to do that. I'm tired of doing stuff twice, especially on this truck here. All right, I think that might be okay right there. So we'll set her over here, just like that right there. I gotta find an apparatus. Maybe this here's long enough. Yeah, that might work. All right, let's see if we can get this ring gear pressed on here. Hey, now, what happened? Something's not right, fellers, because that gear just fell on there. And no, sir, that's supposed to be a press fit. I don't know what we're going to do here. Let me do a little studying, because no, sir, I've never in my entire life had a gear just fall on like that. Something ain't right. Nope. MLS, that's what it is. Yep. Well, like I said, I've never had one just fall on. I've always had to press them on. And I can even hear it rock it back and forth. I can hear it move. I can't see it, you know, because it's such a small amount, but it is making just a very light noise. So that means there's slop. And here's why that's bad. You've only got 8 thousandths backlash that you're supposed to set this at. I don't know how much slop that's got. If it's 10, then that could be an issue. This thing could rock back and forth as it's turning, and it's just going to cause a bunch of problems is what it's going to do. I emailed the company I bought this gear from to get an ID measurement. We can measure that and see if it's the gear or the carrier. I don't know which one it is. What we're going to do in the meantime, I'll get the stock carrier. I'll take the gear off it, and we'll see if this slips on the stock carrier. If it does, then it's the gear. If it don't, if it presses on, then it's the carrier. Anyway, let's get that gear off of that one. Let me see if I can get this set up. Get this here ring gear pressed off. All right, let's see what we can do right there. Going down. All right, I think my carrier is hitting this now, but let's see if we can't move stuff around. Well, it just come off. Good, okay. Ain't gotta worry about it no more. All right, here's the stock one. I done got it cleaned up. Here's the new ring gear. Does it slip on, or is it gonna have to be pressed on? Well, it fell right on. Sure did. There's no gap. Nope. So yeah, I'm gonna say something going on with the ring gear. Let's see if it'll come off easy. Oh yeah, it falls right off. It is tighter on this one. There was no back and forth movement. Let's just see with the stock gear what it feels like going back on this here. Yeah, see, it don't want to just fall on there. It was actually cockeyed because it's a press fit. Now let's try our new carrier with the old gear. See what that feels like. Yeah, it's wanting to be a press fit. Yep. So I'm gonna say this gear's no count. So let me go ahead and get it packaged up, get it sent back, and I will get on Amazon immediately, and we'll buy us a little bit better brand name gear, hopefully. Well, I'll get that ring gear boxed up, sent back to Amazon. We'll get our money back for that. And I'm fixing to go in the house, get on the computer. We'll go to O'Reilly's website first and see what kind of ring gears they've got. Hopefully they've got some. You can get stuff pretty quickly from them. I'll have to pay more, but you know, that's just what I got to do to get it here quickly, because like I said, I've been waiting 4 days on those ring gear bolts. It never occurred to me, you know, to try the ring gear, see if it would fit, because I've never had that issue before. If I had that issue before, well, I would have already checked it. Anyway, we'll get all that took care of. Well, I got some gears coming, not from O'Reilly's. You have to call store and special order, and that usually means it's going to take a while to get them. So, phooey on that. I looked at all of the big box auto parts stores, and The earliest I could get was from Advanced Auto, of all people. It'd be 2 days from now. I didn't want to wait that long. Got back on Amazon. Lo and behold, I found some motive gears. They will be here between 7 and 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, so that's awesome. But they are 350 gears, not the 325s I want to run with. I looked online at RPM calculator. It's about a 150 to 200 RPM difference between the 325 and 350s. I ain't gonna worry about it. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. We're gonna have 350 gears now. That's what we got in the 40, and dude, it'll be just fine. I've already started the return on them other gears. Oh, forgot to tell you, these motive gears, $40 cheaper than the other ones that wasn't right. Yep, sure enough. But it's weird. The 350 gears, I guess because it's a common gear, is $40 cheaper. But then if you go to a 325 gear, it goes up $30, $40. And I don't know. There's common gears I guess they keep in stock. The other ones maybe sort of special order. Anyways, they'll be here tomorrow. We'll hopefully get that rear end done. Cause I'm tired of being on my lift. Y'all look at here. What just showed up. I do believe that is our new gear. So let us get busy. Get them in the truck. As you can see, we have a gap. That ring gear did not fall on that carrier, so we were good there. Let's get this little feller installed real quick like. Are we down all the way? I do believe we are. Yep. All right, let me pull these bolts back out, get some Loctite on them, get them torqued down. Then we'll start putting this thing together. I forgot. You need to leave pressure on this so you can torque these bolts. If not, you will never get them torqued. Yep. 65 torque alerts in a star pattern. I'm not going all at once. We'll do a couple rounds and then we'll actually hit the clicker. I'm just gonna go around, make sure I got them all. Make sure they clicker like they're supposed to. Then I reckon we'll get the bearing put on the new pinion gear. Start putting it together. Well, I was about to start putting all this together and I had to drop what I was doing and run across town because one of my subscribers who goes by the name Rick, he's a local transmission guy. Well, he texted me. He said, I got something for you. Come over here and get it. Well, let me just show you what I went and got. Look here what we got, fellas. We got us a waste oil heater. Yes, sir. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. According to the hours, it ain't got but 259 hours. That's not a whole lot of hours, I don't think, not on a heater. Anyways, it needs some work. He don't know what's wrong with it. If anything, it may fire right up. Other than needing to rig up an oil tank, I don't know. That may be all it needs. This is awesome, though. I don't have to build one. Yeah. 140,000 BTUs is what it is. It'll heat this shop just fine. That little bullet heater that I had, it was 100,000 BTU. It did wonderfully. So, yeah, this will be awesome. Soon as we get this dang old Ford done, I'm going to start fooling with it. See if it'll fire up, see if it'll run. Hopefully it will. But anyways, Rick, appreciate that. That'll be awesome to heat the shop with. That'll cut down on the heating bill a lot because I won't have to buy diesels for those, and I won't have to buy electricity for that and up there. Yep. Only thing it'll cost me is the electricity to run it because my Earl, well, it's free. Oh, yeah. Anyways, let's get back on this. All right, let's get this thing put together. I'm tired of fooling with it. Pinion gear, I got the bearing pressed on. Then you need to oil it up too because you had to check preload. I'll tell you about that in a minute. You got your pinion support, I think is what they call it. Then you get a crush sleeve. That's this little fella right here. Y'all probably can't tell. Here's the one that come out of it. Here's a new one. There's a wee bit of difference in the thickness. It's called a crush sleeve because it actually has to crush. There has been wars started over arguments of what the actual purpose of this little feller is. Some say it is to set preload on these two bearings, this and this one. But you don't need it to set preload. The other half will say it's to take up, it's to keep this inner race here from spinning. Because this bearing's press fit This one goes on next. It is not press fit, it's slip fit. So this inner race could spin on this shaft, eat the shaft up. So they say that's what this is for. It goes here and it presses on this other one and keeps that inner race from spinning. Personally, I think that's what it's for. I could see the argument about the preload because if you didn't have it there, you could just jam that nut on and get it really tight. I can understand it could loosen up without that. The nut could loosen up, but the nut is locking nut. It shouldn't loosen up. So I am of the second argument that it is for keeping this inner race from spinning. Anyway, it goes on next, just like that right there. Also, by the way, if you want to argue about that in the comments, go ahead. I'm not going to pay any attention because I don't care. All I know is we got to have that. You can do what is called a crush sleeve eliminator. I got one over there, but you have to use shims. It takes a little longer to set up, and I just don't feel like using it. Anyway, crush sleeve goes next. This bearing goes next. It's supposed to be a slip fit, but it's not slipping very well. Let's see if I can peck it on with this here. Well, this is not good. It is going on, but it shouldn't be that tight. Fellers, I have learned that you can't buy quality stuff at all anymore. No, sir, you sure can't. All right, I think it's down now. Then after you do that, you got is what is called an oil slinger or an oil shield. It goes next. Then your slip yoke, or not your slip yoke, but your yoke. Then I got to find the nut. What did I do with it? Here's the nut. It's a locking nut. They say use a new one every time you do this. I never have. I just put a little dab of Loctite on it. It should be fine. But we'll go ahead and tighten her up a little bit. Now, you see that's pretty tight. Watch this. Maybe you can hear it. This housing moving up and down because there's slop in there. Crush sleeve has to crush, and then you preload the bearings. Let me show you how to do that. We need to go over here to the vise, and I'll show you how to do that. Preload on those two bearings we just put in. Basically what that means is drag. What you do is you take a little torque wrench. It has to be inch-pound. It's got to be the needle type, can't be the click type, because once I tighten this up and crush the crush sleeve, you have to put this on here, spin it, and watch the needle. And for used bearings, which is what we're using, it needs to be about 15 inch-pounds. If they were new bearings, 25 inch-pounds. Anyway, let me take this impact, and it takes a little bit to get that crush sleeve to crush. But you hammer on a little bit, stop, and if you got any back and forth slop, well, you ain't there. If you get that took up, but it still spins real free, you need to start easing up. You're getting close. Still got slop back and forth. We ain't there yet. Still got slop. Getting less. It's pretty much gone, but it still spins real free, so we're getting closer. Still spins real free. All right, we got a little tightness there now. And you need to oil those bearings in there because you don't want to be spinning them dry. That's not good for them. All right, let's see what kind of preload we got. That's about 10. We ain't quite there, but we're very, very close. Let me hit it one more time with this gun and we'll probably be there. Let's try that. What do we have? Well, it's about 20. Well, it's 18 to 20 is what I'd say it is. It's good enough. I'm not going to be too picky about that. You know, we do need to put a seal in here. We ain't worried about that right now. We can do that later. After that can be the last thing we do. What we got to do now is get our housing up here, get this bolted in. Then we can start putting our carrier with a ring gear in. Let me show you all this before we start putting the ring gear in. You got a shim that goes here. Well, it could be several shims, and it does clock a certain way. Maybe it goes this way. Looks like it. On your pinion gear, you'll have something that says CD, and then it'll be a, I don't know, this one here says 1.030 inches. That's checking distance. I don't remember exactly. I think it's from here to the center line of your carrier. You have to have a certain tool to check that. I don't have it, so I don't pay it any attention. But if you have that tool, well, that'll help you set this distance here in and out. It has to do with the wear pattern and all that. I just wanted to mention that. Also, there's an O-ring goes around here, not a gasket here. You don't put that in until everything's done. Let me get these bolts in. And we may have to take this back off. Like I said, them shims, it has to do with the wear pattern and all that. I'm not sure I got that clocked right either. Maybe I do. Anyway, we may have to take that back apart and add shims or make it thinner. Just have to figure all that out when we do the wear pattern. I need to torque them. I'll have to look it up and see what it's supposed to be. Then I'll flip it over. We'll put the ring gear in. Those bolts tighten to 30 to 35 feet-inch-pounds. I want to oil these bearings up here. Then we'll set it over in there. I got my outer races on the bearings. Let's pick the little fella up. Set her on down in here. Approximately like that right there. Now you want to take your little adjuster thingamabob. Go ahead and slide it down in there in the threads. Then put your cap on. Just like that right there. Let me do the other one the same way. Now what we got to do is check backlash. See, right now it's a little tight. I don't have any backlash at all. So the whole carrier needs to slide that way. We take this little wrench. See all these holes? It'll fit in that hole there, and you loosen her up this way. Tighten her up this way. And slide that over till I start getting a little backlash. I ain't there yet. Well, something ain't right. I see what the issue is. Yep. I completely forgot about that. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. I completely forgot about this. I've had to do it once or twice. When you put in an aftermarket carrier, they'll hit right here a lot of times, where the end of my screwdriver is. And you have to grind that, give it a little clearance. Let me do that, and then we'll put it back together. Well, in true MLS fashion, we got another problem. Now that I got this clearanced, the ring gear bolts are hitting right here. I've never had that issue before. If you will recall, we put washers on because they came with them. That's why I used them, to be honest. I've never used washers before. So we're fixing to take those bolts back out, take the washers off, put them back in. I ain't gonna Loctite them just yet. We'll set it back in there and see if we got enough clearance. If so, great. If not, well, we're gonna have to clearance the housing some more. Took the washers off, set it down in here, and we got plenty of clearance now. I got these retorqued and whatever you call it, Loctited. Let me put the caps back on. We'll start fooling with backlash. Caps are tightened down. I got my dial indicator set up right here. We're checking backlash. Well, let me tell you this firstly. Let me see if I can find it real quick. They run these gears after they make them, and they determine the backlash, checking distance, and all that. We've already discussed checking distance. We'll see this area right here that's been ground away. Well, it's going to have your backlash. It's got a number that should match the pinion gear, and then it has BL008. That means backlash is 8 thousandths. That's what they want you to run it at. Well, if you watch this here, let me get her set up on 0. Approximately right there. And see how much we're moving. Right there we got almost 8. It's close enough, but you want to check it in 3 or 4 places. So Let me roll her on around a little bit more right there. Put this on 0 again. That there is showing, you see it ain't showing but 5. Roll it on around some more. What we got there? It's showing about 5-ish. So the ring gear or something in this whole apparatus is not exactly true and straight. So what you want to do, let's check this one more time. That's about 4. That's probably going to be the closest spot. Let me go on around a little bit more. Check it about right there. Put her on 0. That's showing, well, it's showing about 7. So our closest spot was back around here somewhere at 4. So what I want to do is set that at 8. Yeah, that's showing about 4. I want to set this spot here at 8. And the rest of them, they'll just have to be bigger than, what it's calling for. The way you do that is, well, let me back the camera out and I'll show you. The way you set backlash is by these little adjusters right here. I made me a spanner wrench. Basically, it's a piece of angle iron with 2 bolts. These bolts are the same distance these holes are apart. And I want to increase backlash, so I want to go that way. Backlash is clearance between the teeth on this and the teeth on your pinion gear. You want 8 thousandths. Like I said, this is the narrowest spot. We want to move her that away because we want to increase that, so you will tighten this one up here. We'll try it right there and just see real quick what we got. We got approximately, that's giving us about 6 now. So let me go just a wee bit more. See what we get after that. That moved us to 7. We go just a wee bit more again. That's about 8. Yeah, let me adjust that again. 7.5. We'll go just a little bit more. We'll get it to 8. What do we have now? Just a hair over 8, so we'll leave it there. But, well, let me move you back in and you can see it. It's showing about 8.5-ish, somewhere in there. And now let's roll her on around. This on over this way was the biggest spot, I think. So we'll try her right there. See what we got. Set her to 0. See, that's showing 13. But there's nothing I can do about that, fellers. I would rather have more clearance than less. Because if you got too little of clearance, well, it could lock up on you. So we're just going to have to deal with that extra clearance. Well, let's roll her on around and just see what we got. Let's check it right here and see what we got. About 9, 9.5 there. It'll be okay. Now what I got to do, let me back the camera back out. Now what I do is this, you have to have these pretty tight. You got to preload these bearings just like we did the pinion. Well, I done tightened this up over here, and it was getting tight, but I think it needs to be tighter. So I'm going to tighten this one up just a wee bit, like that, and that's going to affect our backlash. So we had to check it again. I keep on going back and forth until I get these as tight as I think they need to be. And you just have to keep playing with it. It takes a while to get it set up. Then we go to the next step, which is check the pattern. So let me get this where I want it, and we'll check the pattern. Backlash is set. I got it 8 thousandths at the closest and 12 thousandths at the furthest. You ain't going to get it perfect. I've never had one that was perfect. It's the best I can do. Now what we're going to do is, well, I've already done it. You can see that blue color here. It's called Prussian blue. I think nowadays that most of them use like a yellowish orange, but I use this because that's what I got. Yep. All you do is get a little bit on a brush and you just brush both sides of the tooth. You don't want to go very heavy, because if you do, it won't give a good pattern. You just mark 3 or 4 teeth right there. Then you want to rotate it through the pinion gear, and it's going to put a mark on either side of the tooth. And then you look at it and figure out what you need to change to get your pattern right. So let me set y'all back up, and I'll show you how to do that. You want to hold pressure on the ring gear while you're turning the pinion. If you don't hold pressure on here, holding it back, well, you won't get a real good pattern. Well, you just roll it through that way, and then you want to go the other way because you want to make a mark on both sides of the teeth. Then you get it back up here where you can see it, and you determine what you need to do by what the pattern looks like. This one here, well, it looks like this is the heel of the tooth, your toes here, and you got a crown and a root. Well, this is heel heavy, meaning the mark is way out here. You don't want that. You want it centered, maybe even a little toe heavy. So I've got to study up and see what we need to do to correct that. This is the drive side, by the way. The curve, the outside. Well, let me just show you up close. These teeth are not straight. They're curved, and would be the inside of the curve, which is the coast side. And the outside of it, right here, that is your drive side. That is what is actually driving the vehicle. The pressure's on this side of the tooth. That's the pattern you're most concerned with. The coast side, whatever. You wanna focus on the drive side. And let me show you. I'm hoping it'll pick it up on camera. You can see right here where it's lighter than the rest of it. That's your pattern. And you want it to be centered, maybe a little toe heavy, and you want it to sort of be oval shaped or like football. Well, this, it might be a little root heavy, and it's definitely towards the heel. We need to move it in towards the center of the carrier. Let me study up on what needs to be done to correct that, because I don't remember. I don't do this enough to remember. I'll be back, and we'll change whatever we need to, and we'll do the pattern again. According to my cheat sheet right here, a heel heavy pattern on the drive side means you need a thicker pinion shim. Remember this from earlier? I told you we was going to keep the stock one on here and just see what kind of pattern we got. Well, it's not enough. It measures 20. I figured, well, let's go 10 thousandths and see what happens. Well, here's one that's 12. We're going to try it. It might be enough. It might be too much. It might not be enough. We're going to find out, though. Let's get her over here and see what happens. Pinion's back in. I checked backlash. It had moved, because we moved the pinion. It had went to 12 to 15 thousandths. I got it back around 9 to 11, somewhere in there. We're going to run it through again, holding pressure, so we can check our pattern. Go this way and go back to the coast side, and let's get it up here and see what we got. Well, we didn't improve. Actually, we're still heel heavy, and looks like we're crown heavy now. So I don't know how to interpret that just yet. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a bunch this time and just see if we get a big movement, and that'll tell me if I'm going the right way or wrong way. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back, and I put a really thick shim in it this time. I don't know what thickness. I just grabbed I think it was the thickest one I had, stuck it on there, and we're going the wrong way. We are barely on this corner of the tooth now. This paper, I don't know. I don't know what it's talking about, I guess. I'm going to go a lot thinner. Our original shim was 20. Let's put just a 10 in there, and let's see what happens. All right, here's what I did. I removed all shims, bolted her up, painted the teeth. I hope y'all can see that, because that's a pretty decent pattern. Yep, sure is. It's kind of long, but it's not longer on one side than the other. It could go a little closer, deeper into the root, But I think we're gonna leave that alone. Yep. Now the coast side, it's a little heel heavy, and it's a little heavy on the root, but you don't really worry about the coast side because it's gonna spend most of its life on this drive side, and that's what you're worried about. You're supposed to do it like 3 different places. Let me do it a couple more, see what they look like. I'll be back and show you that, and we may be done with this. I got 3 different places with a pattern now, and a couple of them are a little bit long on the root down in there. And I looked at my paper, and I looked at a different one, and it says we need to move the pinion away, meaning we need to shim. So I'm gonna try. Let's try if I can find a 10 thousandths. We'll put it in there and see what it does. But look here. This is the one I was using at first, and right there it's showing that it's heavy on the heel. Thicker pinion position shim required. You come over here, we already know that's wrong because we proved it wrong. We come over here, I don't know why this printed like it did, but it says heel contact, deep on the heel. Move the ring gear closer. So this one here, let me show you what we're going to do with it because it is dead wrong. Bye-bye, won't be using it no more. Let me put a 10 thousandths on there and let's see what our pattern looks like. I got a 10 thousandths shim on there now. Let me paint these teeth up. We'll give her a check and see what she looks like. I'm hoping it's going to be perfectamundo, but you don't never know for sure. Let me paint this side here up too. All right, let's run them 2 through there. See what we got. Got to hold pressure like we're driving so we get a good pattern. And they go back with this and get the other side. All right, let's look at this one right here first. We went back to the heel. I don't really like that pattern. Probably you just should have used 5 thousandths. I got a 5 thousandths over there. Let me, let's see what this other one looks like real quick. And I think that may be what we do. Well, I don't know, because it looks okay. Huh. Let me figure out what I'm going to do. I'll be back. All right, I just want to show you all the pattern real quick with a light. Maybe you'll be able to see it. Down in the root, down deep in this tooth, hopefully y'all can see that sharp line. That means we're too deep with the pinion, but you remove shims to move it away from the ring gear. It don't make sense to me, fellas. I'm just telling you what the professionals are saying online. Let me show you this one right here. It might show that line a little better. I don't know. Pretty sharp line. Let me pull that shim back out. And if that line goes away or gets better, then that's what we're going to do. Got it back to 0 shims on the pinion. And I don't think it helped it any. It's still got that pretty definitive line in the bottom. Let me spin it to another spot and show you that. This one ain't as bad, but it's still there. It's going to have to do because I can't take any more shims away. According to what I'm reading anyway, that hard line means less shim, and well, we're shimless now. I got to go in the house, fellas. I've been out here, I don't know, 10 hours or so. My left knee is gone. I cannot put pressure on it. I got to go in the house and get off my feet. I will study this a little more tonight, but most likely this is set up like it's going to be. Anyways, see y'all tomorrow. Well, I have food with it for another hour or so today, and I can't get the pattern. That sharp line, no matter what I do, I can't get it to go away. Well, firstly, let me put a picture up here because I realize that this new camera does not do good up close. And I'll point out the sharp line I'm talking about. Now, here's what I have done to try to get rid of that. I have moved the pinion down. I'm still confused on this deeper and shallower. This seems like it'd be deeper, but that's what they're calling shallower. I don't know, and I don't care. All I know is I put shims on it, moved it away. The pattern moved towards the heel. Still had that sharp line. Put that back like it was. I have moved the backlash around. I doubled it. I went to about 15, 16 thousandths. The line is still there. So put it back like it was. Run the pattern. And well, I'll take a picture of it and show you right here. That is the final pattern. It's decent as far as the shape and all. It's just that Real sharp line at the bottom. I don't like that, but we're gonna run her. Yep. Let me get this finished up. I gotta put my little keepers. Well, let me just show you what we got. Gotta put these little keepers on here. What is it? Which way does it go? Just like that right there. That keeps this from turning. I'll get them locked down. I've already torqued these bolts here. I gotta retorque these, put the O-ring on here. The reason you don't put that O-ring on or leave it off while you're working on it, y'all saw how many times I had to take that pinion in and out. That O-ring makes it very hard to get this on, plus you're liable to cut it, so you just leave it off till you get done. Plus, we gotta put the seal in. You gotta put some RTMV on the splines. If you don't, it's liable to leak. I'll do that, get this ready to go. I'll get my gasket on there, get all that cleaned up. Next time I see y'all, we'll be putting that rear end back in the truck. We'll see if we can get this little feller in there. It weighs about 986 pounds. It ain't gonna be fun, but it's got to be done, and ain't nobody gonna do it for me, so let us do it. Oh yeah, this is heavy. Yeah, get on up in there, buddy. Come on, man. There we go. They started anyway. Whew. That's most of the battle. Let me put a nut on it, keep her from falling off. Then I'm gonna get a hammer and whoop a devil out of that. That got the old heart rate up. Well, I believe that's seated. Where are they at? You got copper washers that go on before you put the nuts on, just to help seal it up, keep it from leaking. Let me get all this buttoned up, then we'll get the axles back in. I'm gonna put the tag back on it too, even though we don't have the stock gears anymore. It'll be all right. The chunk is tightened up, torqued down, ready to go. Now I gotta get these axles in so I can put grease in it. If I put grease in it right now, they're gonna just run out both ends. I can't have that. Now I need to torque them. Clicker, 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 and clicker. All right, put the drum on, then I need to put some grease in it. Yes, I am pumping up a garden sprayer. That's how I put rear end grease in. It's pretty easy doing this. All you do is pump it up, stick her in, pull the trigger, wait for it to run out. Oh yeah, works great. I have done it with transmission fluid too. Rear end is full of grease. I got the tires back on, as you can see. Drive shaft is on. Now we're working on another transmission leak. I don't know if I told y'all this or not, but the 1-2 accumulator cover leaking pretty good. It'll leave a decent puddle overnight. And overnight, the shift shaft seal started leaking. It'll leave a pretty good puddle. And we got a few drips from the rear, what is that, output shaft seal, whatever you want to call it. Slip yoke seal, whatever. It's just, I've never seen so many leaks on one vehicle. Yes, I know that transmission is a Chevrolet, but it's on a Ford. That's what's causing it to leak, is because it's on a Ford. I will celebrate. We're going to have a party the day that I sell this truck. We sure are. I'm sick of it. Anyway, here is the cover, 1-2 accumulator cover. Here's the old seal. Listen, it's as hard as this table right here. No wonder it was leaking. There's a new one. Let me put that on. Get that put back on. I got to run to town and get some transmission fluid, I'm sure. Then we'll come back, start it up, and we got to break the rear end in, the gears. You drive it 20 minutes or 20 miles, let it sit, cool off. Do that 2 or 3 times, and then you're good to go. Let me get this stuff done, and maybe we'll take a little fellow down the road and see how those gears have pepped it up, and see if we are a 2-legger now. I decided to go ahead and change the shift shaft seal. It was not fun, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a really small seal. They make a puller. You drive it in there, and then you can pull the seal out. Or you can drop the pan and get it out that way, knock it from the inside. Well, I didn't want to take the pan off. Nobody in town had that little seal puller. So I said, let's get us some screwdrivers and picks to go to gnawing at it. Gnawing is what it did. Look at that pitiful little feller. I just gnawed him all to pieces, and the bad thing about it is the hole in the case, well, she's gnawed up too. Yep. If it don't leak, I'm a magician, that's all I can tell you. I filled the hole full of RTV and drove a seal in. Time will tell if it's gonna leak. I got Earls in it, got Wooders mostly in it. We'll have to check that. I got to check the transmission fluids. But right now, let's fire the old girl up. It's gonna take a minute because the fuel bowls are empty. Come on, man. Woohoo! What in the devil? Goodness gracious alive. Yep, I got the timing off. Got the firing order wrong or something. Sound like a shotgun going off. Let me check that, see what I got going on. I'm pretty sure somebody snuck in here the other night and swapped that 180 because it was 180 out. I don't know. We're going to change the name of this truck to Demon Possessed Pile of Garbage. Let's see what'll start. Iron hole. That throttle is really, really loose. That's about 15. I gotta tighten it down. It moved on me. Well, we got a new problem. Imagine that. On this big pile of garbage, we got another problem. Yep. I can't get the timing set. I'll set the initial timing at 15 degrees. I'll rev it up to 3,000, 3,500 to see where my mechanical advance is going to. And it ain't advancing maybe 5 to 7 degrees. That's not right. Well, then I'll let off the throttle, let it idle back down, and the initial timing maybe at 20, maybe at 30. It may be. One time it was at 10 degrees after top dead center. Yep. There's something slipping in that distributor. I'm going to let it cool off. I'm going to go cool off because, yep, y'all think I'm joking, but I've had my feel of this truck. As soon as we get done with the trip I told you I was taking, there's going to be a for sale sign right there in the window. Oh, yeah. I'll be back in a little while. We'll pull that distributor out. Well, as you can probably hear, coming a flood outside. We're under a little tornado watch for the next couple of hours. But it is the next night. Yep, I just said phooey on it last night. Went in the house. Did a lot of thinking about it. And I have checked everything. None of the mechanism up here seems to be bad. The weights are not sticking. None of this timing stuff in here is loose and moving. The only issue I see is we got a lot of in play. Watch right here. Well, you probably can't see it, but it's probably, I don't know, 50,000 in play, but that's not going to do what this was doing. No. So here's what I did. After I rested all day, because today is Sunday. Sunday's the day of rest. That's what I did all day. It's actually probably 9:30 at night now. I went before the rain started, just before the rain started. I went to the Jolly Green Giant, stole the ignition control module out of him, put it on here. That's about the only thing left. Kind of odd though, because I've never seen an HEI ignition control module do this. They usually either work or they don't. This was last resort. I got her swapped out. I'm gonna drop it down here in just a minute. We're gonna put the distributor back in, see how it does. But before I do that, let me show you this right here. Look at here on the floor. What do you see? you don't see a dad blame thing. You see a little antifreeze up there, that's from filling it up last night. But what you don't see, any kind of leaks. It's quite possible we may have all these transmission leaks fixed and rear main seal. There was one little drop of Earl here. It may still be leaking a little bit, but not much. A whole lot better than it was. I ran the truck probably a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes last night. No leaks. That is freaking awesome. I hate leaks. Anyways, let me drop it down, put the distributor in, fire it up, and let's see what it's going to do. Distributor is back in, as you can see. I fired it up and checked the timing, and I don't know, I'm just good, I guess. It was set dead on 15 degrees. I didn't have to change it. But it's not advancing. It should have, I don't know, 15 degrees or so of mechanical advance. It has none. As a matter of fact, when I rev it up, it goes to retarding, I don't know, 2 or 3 degrees, maybe a little more. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. Here's what I want to do, though, just, you know, because I like to know why things do what they do. I'm going to pull this distributor back out. We're going to bring it over here to the table. I'm going to get my drill, hook my drill to it, spin it, and I want to see at, you know, 500 RPMs or so, 800 RPMs or so, are those weights slinging out and already advancing? If so, well, that's no good, and we'll have to put heavier springs in it. Let's get her pulled out and see if that's what's going on. I got my drill hooked up to the distributor. This drill is a 2-speed right there. It says on the side here 0 to 550 per minute, and then 0 to 2,000 per minute. I'm assuming that's revolutions per minute. It doesn't say RPM, but I'm assuming that's what it means. I've already done it, and here is the 550. Is it 500 or 550? Here's the 550 RPM. The weights are not slinging out at 550. Well, let me tell you this first. 550 RPM here is double crank. It'd be 1100 RPM is what you're reading on the tack. So at the 2000, that would be 4000 engine RPM. It is slinging out when I hit the trigger wide open. You probably can see it. I can hear it clink when I let off. That's the weights coming back. But if I slowly go faster and faster, you can probably see them start slinging out. So I know the advance is working. I just don't know what at RPM, you know, because I'm using a drill. Here's what I'm going to do. Well, let me show you. I'll show you over here. I got this weight kit here from Moroso, part number 72300, if you want to know. It comes with some different weights and bushings, and then a bag of springs. You got a copper, silver, and black springs. Copper being the lightest, silver medium, black heaviest. Well, that thing over there looks like it's got the black ones in it, but y'all saw it in advance. I don't know if I want to try lighter, or I don't know. It don't make any sense, fellas, because a couple weeks ago it was doing just fine. I don't know what's happened to it. I'm at a loss right now. I'm going to put. Let's try the silver spring or the copper springs. They're the lightest ones. Let's just see what happens. Well, I fired it up, checked the timing, and I don't know what's going on. I ain't got a clue. Yeah, we got the copper springs in, which are the lightest. I might be getting 7 degrees of advance around 3,000, 3,200. According to Moroso's little instruction sheet, the copper ones, you should be, by 3,000 RPM, you should be getting 22 degrees of timing. We are nowhere near that. I'm going to have to do some studying. Something's happened to the distributor because 2 weeks ago, I set her on 15 degrees initial, revved it up, it hit 35 or so, and by probably 32, 3,400 RPM, we're nowhere near that now. So I don't know. I gotta do some studying. Y'all look at this right here. I don't know how well it'll pick up on camera, but I got them little ladybug thingamabobs all over this window. Watch when I hit the door. They're just going everywhere. I don't know where they're coming from, but I wish they'd get on. Anyways, let's talk about this distributor. As you can see, it is not nighttime anymore. I said fooey on it again last night, went in the house. Got back out here today, and the distributor was still in the truck. I took the cap off, took the rotor off. I got to fooling with the advanced mechanism. It felt a little sticky. Well, then it dawned on me that, I don't know, here a few days ago, a week or two ago, I turned the shaft on this distributor and it was hard to turn. It's pretty hard to turn, actually. Well, it didn't, register in my little pea brain till just now. Hey, that could be the issue. This is hard to turn. This is sticky. So let's take it apart and see what we got. Well, I did. And all I did was wipe this area off because it had some old black sticky stuff. Wipe that off, put it back in, and, well, she spins just as free as a bird. Well, I can't get that in there. I was going to show you. Anyway, it's much freer. This here is not sticking anymore either. This part here goes down in here, and it had a lot of black gooey stuff on it too. Let me clean it up with carpet cleaner. I'm gonna grease it up, put it back in the truck. I bet you money that's gonna be our problem, hopefully anyways. Let me tell you this real quick. Like, in my younger days, Daddy, well, he had a saying. I think he got it from an old Western movie, and he would say this to me when I would get so mad at something like this right here that wasn't working. I was ready to pitch it to the side and go get a new one, or just going to give up in general on something. All he would say is, endeavor to persevere. All that means is keep on keeping on, fellas. Don't give up. You will figure it out eventually. Even, me with my little pea brain. I finally, hopefully, figured this out. Let's get this put back together, get it in this colossal pile of garbage, and hopefully we got that issue fixed. Well, here's the verdict. I got the initial set at 15, and we're getting about 15 more degrees mechanical, and it jumps up to around 28 to 30, which ain't enough. I want about 35, but it's not gradual. It jumps all at once. That could be the weights and spring, weight and spring combination. I'm going to put the different weights that come out of this little Moroso kit. I'm gonna put them on there, see what they do, and then I may fool with the springs and whatnot, because the timing's got to be a little better than this, or it's going to hurt horsepower quite a bit. It does return when it goes back to idle. It does return back to 15 degrees initial timing, so that is fixed for sure. Like I said, we are getting advanced. Let me fool with it a little bit more, and maybe we can get it a wee bit better. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is your advanced mechanism. Centrifugal force, as this turns faster with more RPM, these weights sling out like this. And then see this piece right here, see it move? That's how you get your mechanical advance. That was sticking, and that was the issue. What I'm wanting to do now is put these weights on there. They may be heavier, lighter, I don't know. But we're gonna swap them out. And then here's the springs I'm talking about too. You got lighter to heavier. The heavier are, the more centrifugal force it takes to sling the weights out. Anyways, let me play with this a little bit. Maybe it'll fix it, maybe it won't. I don't know. Well, here's the deal. Number one, I was just going to change the weights. Well, they won't work with that center part. And I was going to change this whole thing just to see what happens. Well, the center part won't fit there. It likes just a little bit. I could water one of the holes out, but pooey on it. So what I've done is put it back together. I've changed to the lightest springs I got. Let's see what it does. Well, it's acting different. I mean, we're changing stuff now, but it's not right. Nope. The initial timing is at like 17 degrees now, so that tells me it's advancing a little bit even at idle. That's not right. Rev it up to, I don't know, 1500, maybe 2000 RPM. Hold it steady state. You can see the timing start to move a little bit, and then boom, all of a sudden it jumped to 30. Well, you can hear it probably on the video revving up. That's not me revving it up. That's the timing advancing causing it to rev up. And it shouldn't be doing that. It's the little mechanism in here. I'm sure it's a pile of garbage, Chinese junk is what it is. I wish that Moroso stuff would fit. I may make it fit here in a while. I might have a genuine GM HEI distributor over at Mama's on the shelf. I'm gonna go over there and look in a little while. Hopefully it's got all the centrifugal stuff in it. If it does, I'll rob it and we'll put it in here, see what it does. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and, it's probably good enough now to drive. I'm gonna start breaking in those rear gears because that's gonna take the rest of the day, because I gotta drive 20 miles, let it sit, cool off completely, and then drive another 20. That's gonna take a while. So I will probably see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have the ignition stuff fixed, because if that's not right, it's gonna drive like garbage. Anyway, hopefully we'll have that fixed tomorrow. I'll take y'all for a ride and we'll see how much peppier it is with the new gears. Hopefully it's a whole lot peppier. Anyway, see y'all tomorrow. Well, I took this rust bucket for a spin yesterday, breaking in the rear gears. I told y'all I was going to take it easy because we're breaking in the rear gears. Well, that was a lie. It's a lot better. Those gears help it out. It is mucho peppiero. Mucho peppiero. That's what it is. It's a lot better, y'all. It'll get up and go pretty good now. We are turning 2,800 RPM at 60 mile an hour. Not the best, but it's not a, take your family on vacation across the country vehicle. It is a run around town, run around out here in the country and put it on the wood every once in a while vehicle. It's pretty good. The carb, excellent. I guess that trash is why it was flooding out the other day. That seems to be wonderful now. It does have a slight hesitation, but I think it's due to the timing. I think I left y'all off with saying I was going to find, I had a HEI distributor at Mama's. Well, I found it, but it was all rusted. I don't know what I did with the parts. I think I didn't put them up. But they was all rusted, and I didn't want to fool with them. So what I did was changed out the springs. I think I had 2 copper springs, the lightest ones. Well, I left 1 copper and put a silver, which is a medium. And the timing, it's a lot better than it is. I still ain't getting all the timing I want. That's something I'm just going to keep fooling with, but it's better than it was, definitely, when we started out a couple days ago. I got one bad thing to show you, though. Let me raise it up. After I took it for a drive yesterday, I come back here to feel how warm the rear end was, and it looked shiny with lots of Earl. And I was like, what in the world? We got a seal or a gasket leaking. Then it dawned on me, let's look up here in the front. And well, let me just show you right here. See this right here? Well, that's transmission fluid. That's new because it's red. Yep, got a red tint. And that pile there, that's rear main. Yeah, it's leaking 10 times worse than it was. I don't understand it, fellers. I don't. What is crazy, let me get this light in here where you can see. There's no oil dripping right up there in that area where your rear main is. It's dripping off of this adapter plate. I've looked it over and I don't know where it's coming from. I have no clue. I've looked at the oil pan, well, you can see up here. Ain't no leaks there. I looked up top at the back of the intake. No leaks there. Where is it coming from? You would think if it was a rear main seal, it'd be leaking right there, but it ain't. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not taking it on a trip with it doing this. No, sir. It's slung oil everywhere. 20 miles and it's just, yeah. Well, you can see it on the exhaust right here. It's just coated it. Not sure what I'm gonna do. You can see it up there on the frame rail too. I just now noticed that. It's pretty shiny with Earls. Yep, sure is. Transmission line's dripping with Earls. That red from the transmission, that's new. That wasn't here last night. So I'll have to investigate that. I thought we had all of them fixed. There's the seal at that accumulator. I don't see anything there. Let me fill up here at the dipstick tube. There's nothing there, so you got a clue where that's coming from. Shifter shaft seal is not leaking, so I don't know. That's got a red tint though. Yep. Ain't got a clue, fellas. Nope. Not sure what I'm gonna do about that rear main. I don't know what to do, I'll be honest with you. I have never in my entire life had a rear main seal leak. I've had the oil pan leak up front on a few small block Chevrolets, but I've never in my life had a rear main seal leak. And I'm not sure that's what it is, because like I said, there's no oil dripping right there where the rear main seal is. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I know what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna let her down, back her out, drive her down the road. I'm gonna show y'all how spirited it is, but I can't put the hood on. I'm telling you, this truck is it's just a disaster, man. You got the clipper nuts that go in the hood places here. Well, as you can see, there's none here, and there's 2 down there. And I can't find them. I thought I had bought some off Amazon. They're not long enough. They don't work. I have looked and searched, cannot find any. So I don't know. We may have to just put hood pins on it. I don't know. This truck has fought me tooth and nail on everything I've done. I'm about over it. But anyways, let's take her down the road, see how she does. Remember me telling you just a minute ago that this thing has fought me tooth and nail on everything. Everything. I mean everything. Well, listen. I ain't got a clue. I just measured voltage. It's showing like 12.8. So let me do some investigating on that part and see what's going on. I changed out the negative battery cable because it was rusty. Yes, apparently copper and lead can rust. So I put a new one on it. She fired right up. Let's head down the road, see how she does. I think I'm gonna run to the bolt store, see if maybe they got one of these clipper nuts. Probably not, but let's just go see if they do. We're in 2nd gear already, 3rd gear now. Shifts way too soon. That's something else I got to work on. The governor weights, we got to work on them getting shifted a lot later. Also, the rear end has got a little whine. It's hard to tell because you know it's way back there. I'm not in the cab of a car, it's a truck. It does have some whine. I can't tell how bad it is, but it is what it is, fellas. I did all I could to get the pattern right. Pretty good. Get a whole lot better traction now with a 2-wheel feel. 45, 46 mile an hour, turning about 2400 RPM. Run in here real quick, see if I got any of these clipper nuts. Look here, we got 8 clipper nuts. So I can now put the hood on. Maybe I may leave it off till I figure out if I got to pull the motor again for that rear main leak. In 2nd gear before I can ever get going. That's kind of annoying. Already in 2nd. Let's head down to the river. See if it's up or not. We had a lot of rain here the other day. What you have to watch for out here in the country, run around these curvy roads. You don't never know when you're going to run into a tractor running slow. I hope y'all can hear that whine or not. I'm assuming that's gear whine. I'm not real sure though. Sort of sounds like it's coming from up here. Yeah, the river's up quite a bit. They got the road blocked still. The road is, well, let me show you this real quick. Yeah, it's up several feet. Here a month or so ago, we had, some terrible rain. I came down here one night after all the storms, and they had the road blocked, but I managed to get by. And just right down here at this first curve, the road is falling off in the river. I'll tell you what, let me walk down there, I want to see it. See all this brush and limbs and tree trunks and whatnot? That's how high the water had gotten. It was, yeah, quite a bit of wooders. Right on down here, it's the edge of the road has fell off in the river. It looks like that guardrail already has too. And you can see where the edge of the road is done cracked and dropped and trying to fall off in the river. It's done dropped probably 2 foot right here. Guardrail, that whole section of the bank has dropped 6 foot probably. It's a pretty good drop off to the river there. I don't know how they'll fix this. I don't know that they will. Maybe they can move the road over or something. I don't know. I know I've come down here many a day when I was a kid fishing. Mostly on down yonder at the old lock. There's a big concrete pad. You can fish off of there. Just along the bank here anywhere. Spent many a day on the river too in the old pontoon boat. Yes, sir. Anyways, let's get back to the house. I would do a donut here, but there's a couple of cars here. They liable to call the law on me. What in the world just happened? She died on me. Oh. Well, this ain't good. Oh, he didn't like that. That pause helps out a bunch now. We ain't got all that spinning going on. We've done a one-wheel burnout. What y'all think about a two-wheel smoke show? There's a distinct smell. Y'all smell it? Burnt rubber. I don't know why I smell it, but I do. The gears, yes, sir. It's pepped this little feller up. It is mucho betero, if I must say so myself. Yep. Sure run a hole in the wind now. I just hate that we're having so much trouble with it. I have never in my life ever experienced a vehicle like this one right here. I mean, just this week, think about it. We bought gears. They fell on the carrier, had to send them back. I bought another set of gears. Cannot get the pattern right. Now we got a pretty good whine to it. I don't know if it'll pick up on the camera or not, but it's pretty high pitch. It's not real loud, but it is there. And I can hear whine on the coast side too. I don't know what I'll do about that. Maybe it'll go away, but I kind of doubt it. The distributor was doing just fine and dandly. Then it said, nope, I'm not working right anymore. It's not right. It's better, but it's not right. I still got to do some work on that. It's just, it never lets up. You know, I thought we had fixed our rear main seal leak. No, sir. It ain't. Well, I don't know if it's rear main or what it is. Could be the cam plug. I'll get my camera out in a little while and sneak it up there and just see what I see on that cam plug. I mean, it's just, it never ends with this truck. I cannot take it on a trip, though, with it leaking oil like that. I refuse to. We've got to get that fixed. We've got to get that fixed for sure. I ain't joking when I tell you this thing's possessed by the devil himself. It sure is. I don't know, man. I'm about ready to give up on it. I ain't going to quit, though. I do need to take a break from it because, yeah, this past week working on this thing has just drove me nuts. Next week or two, we're going to take a break from this thing, yep. But we do have to get back on it because we got to fix it. It's got to be right, yep. And I still want to take a trip in it. We're going to do that eventually. So I'll be looking for that. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. Don't forget Patreon. Don't forget merch right here. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.